Yay! It's Tuesday. It's 8/23/2022. Just got back from my workout and a shower. And so I'm here in this hotel room again, just like yesterday. And, being on a lean budget, I had to dig through my options to, this is an 8-day academy I'm at. And so I had some old halal MREs that I bought to review on my YouTube channel, which you're presently watching. And just never got around to it. So they were of the type that you have to eat and consume sooner than later because there's less preservatives in them, conforming to the religious dietary uh, restrictions and things. So I better eat them. This is a special occasion, going to an academy for a federal position, part time. It's just amazing what I've learned. I've been totally uh, uneducated about the options that are available. Not that I haven't worked really hard in my life. I'm going to be going to a 60-hour work week, with this temporary position I'm taking. I'm keeping my old position. So um, I'm going to be super busy. But as with most of you have experienced financially, it's been chaos, specifically a downward spiral for me and a lot of people. So the only way to kind of get out of that tailspin is just keep working harder and harder. I mean, at least for now, get some of the holes in the boat patched up, and then maybe go on to better uh, destinations from there. But for now, we got to do some damage control. So anyway, let's crack into this. This is a halal MRE from Sopaco, Mullen, South Carolina. This is the real deal. These are specialized. They're pretty hard to get a hold of. I think I paid about $250 for the case or so. I always want to try them out. And I was going to do a review on each one, but now this is serious. I got to eat. I'm hungry. I burned over 500 calories on the treadmill. I was doing a 14 incline at a 2 mile pace for an hour. I started sweating and everything. I did that yesterday too. I was watching the Mysterious Island with The Rock and a bunch of other folks. I didn't get to see the thing. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I haven't ever seen that movie, but it's a pretty good homage. It looks like they did, decently, attributing to at least some scenes from the book and things from Jules Verne. I'm a big fan of Jules Verne. I've read a lot of his sci-fi when I was a child. It was a collected works of Jules Verne, and that kind of introduced me to the submarine service and things like that later on in life. But I don't really talk about it too much. Um, but yeah, I mean, the some of the stuff that Jules Verne was talking about was a future source of motive power, and then heat and light was hydrogen, and I am actually into that too, as far as figuring things out. So it's amazing what science fiction can foretell, or maybe it's just good ideas that people are fleshing out, or maybe it's just a dim recollection of a past that we might repeat. There's a lot of different variances on that, but anyway, if you want to get yourself into uh, some science fiction, Jules Verne is a good author, and his Captain Nemo character is pretty interesting. And I've never grown a beard before this year. I kind of grew it out of aggravation. That I could tell you more, but it was basically me trying different variables to see what uh, parameters were uh, the operating agenda for a certain situation. And the trend analysis was beards were in fashionably, so I gave it a shot. But I have not yet cut this off. But I do think that I remember some of the original illustrations for um, 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea. There's some uh, illustrations of Captain Nemo, and he grows his stuff out willy nilly, kind of like this or more, according to the illustrations. So it's not a bad look. I mean, I wear this old watch cap to keep everything tucked in and everything, but it's not a bad look. But anyway, let's dig into this. This is the halal chicken and vegetables. And normally I read a lot of the ingredients and stuff, but basically this the religious dietary MREs are considered some of the premier MREs because they have to conform to other strict uh, dietary laws and things. So they have to use limited ingredients and things like that that will pass the inspections from the procedures. So anyway, they're considered top tier. I mean, if you're going to have an industrial uh, mainline MRE maker and you want the best you can have, basically, you have to go into the specialty stuff. And best is relative. If you're talking pure, not pure, but no, maybe so. Ingredients of a stricter sense, then that's anyway. Let's untie our tongue from this uh, train of thought. But first, we got some raisins. I may go on the raisins a bit to see what else we have. We have some kind of snacky snack. Okay, look here. It's called the Santa Fe Adobe Mix. Huh, okay. Never had anything like this since. Well, hopefully before only. Maybe it's good. I'll have some sense. Sense from hints. It's poor. When this gets auto captioned, I wonder what all the different languages and stuff we're gonna have. Language caption is gonna be. So here right now we got a bit of spice on my fingers here already. This looks to be a nut. What are these called? Almond. It's an almond. I did some heavy duty learning today, so I'm a little staggered. And there's some kind of a crispy deal. There's a peanut. Another one of these crispy doodads. Now, as far as the spice is concerned, it's a little hot. Some kind of cracker. It has a interesting taste to it. What's this thing? Is that a couple? Um, is that a couple corn kernels? Yeah. Some of these things are stuck together. It's kind of a rye wheat, kind of flavor. I've just had something similar. I just can't remember exactly. No, this is tasty. This is a tasty mix. So yeah, I'm talking to myself, which is fine. I'm eating by myself. I mean, what else am I gonna do? Yeah, this is a good mix. Got a little hotness to it. Anyway, I'm gonna eat it straight out. Yeah, corn nuggets. That's what I was trying to think of. Corn nuts type deal. That's the brand name in it. I thought I saw a pumpkin seed, but it was just a peanut. Ah, John's back. How you doing? Just like last night, I'm eating this military food. I'm trying to do a show and tell. I'm gonna hit study here in a bit, and then this is all over with. How you doing? You gave out. You gave out and gave in. What about? Fill me in on what this is all about. There's a story here somewhere. Oh wait, I did think I saw a pumpkin seed. Oh, it's a sunflower seed. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's not like anybody's gonna reverse engineer this, but it's kind of interesting nonetheless. Hmm. Oh, you can probably see in there still a lot of spices, but it's getting everywhere. Oh, this is good for that. Well, what's up, John? Are you eating something too? What I'd like to do is eat with company. Oh, you're moving the old truck. So here we got something called shortbread cookie. But on the back, let me turn it around. It says United States of America. It has a little image of how you open this thing to eat it. So this may or may not be the component in the humanitarian MREs that I've heard so much about and seen, because it kind of reminds me of the illustration from that. And the reflective thing is is in contrast to, say, like the camouflage package. So in a way, it's not so you're undetectable. Maybe this is all scattered around somewhere you can find it, but there's different modalities to why it's aluminum. Let's get some of these shortbread cookies. It's a cool package. I mean, it's built ruggedly. I mean, it's almost a disgrace to open it, but not. I mean, I'm worth it. I gotta have that kind of mentality. I'm worth it, right? At least for these special occasions and stuff. Like these meals are basically when I eat them, it's because uh, it's really hard to have a decent meal. And for right now, like I spent so much money on different equipment and whatever. And then when the fuel prices hit, I was in trouble. So like right now, like I can't afford to go eat. This thing I signed on with, they provide a meal meal. What do you call it? What's it called? It's that old Roman thing. Um, what's the terminology? Basically, it's a budget for a meal every day. Per diem. There we go. But I'm not going to see that for a few more weeks. I'm not in their payroll system yet, so I don't have. I mean, technically, I'm going to be getting per diem per today, but I have no way to access it. So, so I'm being on a budget and eating these special MREs I actually bought for to do a review on, but you know, I am kind of, but I'm multi-purposing them. I'm actually using them for what they're intended for, which is uh, more or less eating under harsh conditions. Oh, it is literally. It says shortbread cookie. It is literally a shortbread cookie. Look at that. Pulled that out of there. Look, looks in good shape too. So old John, he says, "Yeah, I have to take it out of the old truck for the one ton." Yeah, that's some bugaboo work right there. I hope you're doing it safely. And I don't know. There's only if the weather's cooperating. I hope you have a garage to do it in, so you're not doing it outdoors. That's even worse. Playing with the elements and the bugs and the hot sun and everything. But if you're like me, you're you're probably doing things on a budget too, or worse. Let's eat this thing. I hope it does. Some of these old military cookies you buy them, they fly everywhere, like all these crumbs and stuff. One thing some of these people with beards warn me is if you grow your beard around your mouth, you'll start eating your beard, and that's kind of what's going on here. When I put the cookie in my maw here, it starts pulling some mustache and beard up in there too. So I'm starting to chew on my beard. I don't know what the workaround is. Maybe I got to get like a funnel or something. Who knows? Or just trim it around. This is my first one, so I'm making a lot of first time beginner mistakes. So Jono says there's a lot of rain where he's doing his mechanical work. Yeah, why don't you know it's always some kind of extra challenge when you work outside. Hmm. I used to make shortbread cookies. I used to be a cook for the California Conservation Corps, and when I make these, maybe not this big, they were smaller. I take an ice cream scoop and scoop out the dough. But interestingly, we use uh, very fine flour. Um, I forget what was it called, cookie flour. I forget. It's a very fine wheat flour to make the cookies. Um, Kind of remind me. I remember. It's amazing what you forget. It's super amazing what you remember, but it's also in the parallel sense super amazing what you forget. Then maybe it'll come back as you like tug at those memories. Um, it was very fine flour. Then, made lots of those for the Corps members that go out and do their sound restoration project. Well, I don't know, John. You're probably my only fan right now, which is kind of funny because I got nothing to show you as far as Edison nickel iron or nickel metal hydride or nickel cadmium or lithium ion or lithium. What's the other one? Uh, LiFePo lithium iron. I mean, I gotta get the spiel better. I'll talk about all these different. There's another lithium cobalt and the other one, the one we were talking about last live stream. Um, anyway, I gotta focus on what I gotta learn for this academy. So I'm gonna I'm gonna be a little bit dim on my old battery stuff, for I guess for at least for now. How about are you working on it in your yard? Yeah, what do they call that, shade tree mechanic? I'll tell you, I think every guy that has any kind of mechanical tendency ought to have some kind of garage to go to. They ought to make, they have community gardens. They should have community garages where every so often you play a dry place to work out of the elements. You ought to be able to go to a community garage and, maybe pay a very small, token rent, maybe five or $10 an hour or something like that, and rent it out and be able to work in this or some kind of arrangement like that and be able to work on your stuff with no problems. Have I ever seen a 200 SX car? I don't know. I don't know what that is. They said they haven't had them in Michigan. Yeah, I'm pretty lame as far as car knowledge. I am learning slowly, little here, little there. Is that a Nissan 200 SX? I don't remember. I could Google it, but my hands are full. I'm right-handed. My right-handed hand is full. Hmm. I got an old dude. It's like 10 years old. An old Google Nexus 7 tablet. Oh, so yeah, I was gonna look up a. Oh, it is a Nissan 200 SX. Okay, yeah, it's kind of familiar. Kind of not, but I was gonna look it up on here, so I wouldn't. Because otherwise, I can look it up on this computer. But there's nothing worse than you get that deadpan stare while you're tap looking around. It's kind of goofy sauce. But yeah, I got a lot of old tablets because you can get them really cheap. But back in the day, I think it was a $500 tablet. I'm talking 10 years ago, but now things have changed. Well, I don't have to look it up. Well, I can look up stuff if I want to. All right, maybe I could type stuff in and show it. That's an idea. Well, let me find a 200X SX picture of Google Photos or something. Only problem with these old tablets is they're a little slow and the battery's a little tired. It's throwing up these little updates. Gotta wait for it to do this thing. I just turned it on. Bang bang. like a dinner bell. I'm eating dinner. Well, I may be down to the raisins now. Nissan 200 SX. Tap images. So yeah, some different Nissan 200 SS SX is different years and stuff. Yeah. Well, at least you're able to work on things at, here and there. At least you're getting things done before what the winter hits. Oh, 84. Yeah, 1984. I think that was one of the good years, wasn't it? See if I open this without too much trouble. Getting into the raisins. Where's the old raisins? I had a lot of raisins as a kid, so I got raisins out, but now it's been a long time, so I kind of like them again. Yep. I'll tell you, this is a nice hotel. It kind of reminds me of The Good Life a little bit, where things were simple. Like when I was back in the Navy and stuff, where I lived pretty well when I was not deployed. Like, for about 3 months, I had a little barracks room in Hawaii on Oahu. That was nice. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I mean, this is bigger, but it lets you focus on what they want you to focus on. I told myself if I ever got another shot at a good gig, I'm not going to fool around like I did last time. I didn't know how good I had it. I should have put the nose to the grindstone. So now I have kind of a different sort of swing at the bat, so to say. And I don't want to go to waste. I made plenty of mistakes. It's time to make some non-mistakes, So what's left? We got orange flavored, no fruit juice. Probably like a Tang type deal. And then we got sort of halal chocolate pudding. I'm going to dig into this. I'm a big chocolate pudding fan. I'm just tearing off the end like that. I'm going to eat it like an astronaut. But I just squeeze the package into my pie hole here. It's a different sort of chocolate pudding. It seems more angry. It's more of an angry pudding. Like serious, kind of angry. like it was a Del Monte chocolate pudding. It's more sugary and happy. This is more angry. I don't know how to explain it. It's a more angry chocolate pudding. Well, shoot there, John. You ought to. I know it's a hell of a thing, but if you can get yourself some kind of computer or tablet or camera or some kind of deal and just record yourself working on this stuff, people would find it super interesting. I know I'd watch it. I know it's a pain in the butt to set up a camera, especially with lighting and water and stuff if it's from rain and whatever. But I think just doing this YouTube thing here and there, I think it's not just what you upload; it's how often you upload. Like it's kind of like mining, I guess, where it's not how much you dig; it's how long you dig. I guess I don't know. I'm not a miner. Or like fishing. I've fished before in my past. It's not how many fish or it's not how many hours you fish. It's how much you fish. Doesn't make sense anyway. Well, I don't know. What do you want to talk about beyond the? Or is there anything else you want to say or talk about? Because I don't know if I'll go on like an hour like yesterday. I'm already a half hour here. It is good to eat slow though. You got a chance. You gotta look for bolts for the flywheel. How do you how do you do that? You gotta do some research, or do you have a sample you can measure and try to? I've ordered nuts, like for my Edison batteries, the nickel iron. And what I did was I bought a nut gauge for finding out the. It's like a measurement tool where you can, depending on where the nuts will fit on this tool, they'll tell you what the measurements are. But that's what I had to do. I got that off of Amazon. I used them and it was kind of broke down, but it worked. Um, yeah, it was like yeah, it's like a nut gauge, I guess you'd call it, for nuts and bolts. Yeah, it was a nut and bolt gauge, so you could kind of measure it. It had all the main ones. There was some not the old Essen batteries used some really oddball threads, so stuff kind of worked and kind of didn't. Replacement wise, but whatever you get, make sure you get some good, um, maybe stainless steel nuts or bolts. I didn't know it, but they make different grades of strength, and then you can get different metal, different ones. If you just got straight steel, it would eventually rust or whatever. I don't know. Maybe there's more to it, especially if it's under a lot of torque and stuff. Maybe you have to get straight steel. I don't know. But I imagine if you get nautical grade, which is stainless steel, you do a lot better. I see a lot of places where they could use stainless steel, and the manufacturers don't use it. I guess it's just a little extra money they save on the front end, but it costs you more on the back end when you're trying to recover some of this old equipment. I ordered my stuff off of Amazon and eBay. This was about 2 years ago, though, before all this crackdown, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a bugbear to get parts, like compared to in the past. I think you should get some kind of vehicle where they made a lot of them, so you can always find spares compared to some kind of rare vehicle where spares are impossible to find. If you have no spares, then once something's break down too much, you're done unless you can fabricate your own. So this is the last deal. It's called Halal Chicken and Vegetable. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in the MRE one once I get it hot. That's what comes in it. And this is a funny thing. It's called a rock or something. You see how that's a rock or something. I think some people made some funny memes off of that. But basically, it's something so you can have this at a 45-degree angle as it cooks. Well, John, the main thing is something called tactical patience. I didn't know about that a few weeks ago, but it's patience on and beyond run-of-the-mill patience, where it's just powerful patience, where you no matter how long it takes or what it takes or whatever you got to deal with, just don't lose sight of what you're trying to do, and don't let anything make your emotions get you off your chosen goals. Anyway, I'm gonna stick some water up in here and then stick this in there and get this cooking. Hold on, right back. Be right back. Yeah, it says caution to overfill past the lines here. I think I did accidentally, but it's a little bit of trick of the trade. I've never seen it on YouTube. But if you have access to hot water, put hot water in there, and it will supercharge the reaction to overcome whatever little mishap you did by overfilling it a little bit too much. And I'm going to take this sleeve and stick it up over it. And what that sleeve does is it holds that flap down. What that flap does is hold the heat in. Bottom gets super hot, so this extra little card that comes with it, you can use that card to hold the bottom as you slip the flap on. And then I'm just going to put this at a 45-degree angle. My rock or something will be this desk here. And yeah, just take my word for it. Sitting there at about a 45-degree angle, cooking. We'll leave that there. So what did John say here? Most parts stores had any. Ordered a new he ordered a new flywheel, and some of the bolts were not in the box, so the seller sent some. Yeah, this motor is all new to me. How to make it all work out. The Ellis motors are badass. Cool. Yeah. You're doing your own little OJT. What's the other one? DIY. No, what's the other one? This is self-education, self-instruction. So yeah, I mean, not everything will be taught by others. Some things you teach yourself, and you learn, and you get through things. And like that. I mean, even with these nickel, iron or nickel, um, cadmium batteries. I mean, you basically had to self-educate. I mean, I don't know of any school that teaches about them really that I know of. Maybe there's trade schools or something that talk about them. But I was looking around in some Navy technical manuals for about batteries, and there's no chapter on nickel irons in the modern manuals. I ought to bring that up and show that up in a video. That's like they arrested from history, which is not surprising considering the mishap that one submarine had with the nickel iron batteries. It wasn't pretty, but yeah. So yeah, what else? So while that's cooking, we got this beverage powder, orange. I'm gonna go ahead and dump this. I got in a cup from yesterday. I'll reuse it. They have a really nice GE stainless steel fridge and freezer combo in here, better than what I have at home in this motel room. It's a real eye opener to see how rough I have it. You forget how bad you have it until you go to a place like this. But this is only temporary. I'm only here for a few days, and then it's back to living where I got to make my own energy, electrical power stuff. So dry while it lasts, right? Put that. I'll show you guys. Show you all. Put that orange powder. It's basically like Tang type deal. I'll go get some water and throw that in there. Stir it. The housekeeper probably is looking in my garbage and she's like, "Who is this guy? He's eating military food, And it's kind of a hard. It's actually kind of hardcore to eat military food when you can go get a restaurant. But like I said, it's a budget price right now. I mean, I'm having trouble finding money to buy fuel in a lot of ways. It's almost basically I have to decide whether I want to eat or want to fuel up with diesel. It was real bad. Luckily, I had some hard time vittles and stuff put away, but it's economic hard times for me. But I'm going to be working 60 hours a week here soon, so I can dig myself out faster. Hopefully, it won't be so bad. But hopefully my health doesn't suffer. You gotta have time to work out and be physically fit, but you also have to time to sleep and do recovery so your muscles and everything can repair themselves. So, but um, yeah, rebuilding medicines and things like that. I mean, it's been done overseas, been done stateside and stuff. I know that Zap Power Works. That's what they did. I think they got Edison nickel irons off of like a New York subway station or something. Subway trains. You got a ton of them, and I don't know all the details. I'm assuming a lot, but they took them and recased them in the plastic cases and sold them. There's a video on YouTube about this Catholic not a homestead. Well, it's kind of where they talk about their nickel iron batteries, and they come from that work. I remember reading about that. I don't think they're around anymore. They sold out all their remade Edison nickel irons. But the trouble I have with talking about Edison batteries is it wasn't just Edison nickel iron, but there was Edison branded nickel cadmium. If you go back, there was Edison Lalande batteries, I think it was called. He had a bunch of other combinations like copper lead or something like I forget. Let me not talk about it until I know it very well. But I have some. Edison made a lot of those batteries, in the jars, starting out a bunch of different types. Even he made lead batteries too, obviously. So when you say Edison battery, people have a different mentality or a different mind image of what you're talking about, depending on what they know. I really should write a book on all the different kinds of Edison batteries. That way, all the different chemistries and stuff. That way, people aren't just talking about one thing when it could be multiple things. Kind of like talking about that, saying dinosaurs when there's Stegosaurus and Brontosaurus and Tyrannosaurus and what are those other famous ones from Jurassic Park? The the vicious ones that were in packs. But like that, I mean, you just saying Edison batteries is kind of like saying dinosaurs, because I mean it's a broad thing, broad brush. That's why I always try to say Edison nickel iron or Edison nickel cadmium to kind of defer. That's all right though. Yeah, overseas I seen some video of them rebuilding lead acid batteries too, especially in like India and stuff. They got some craftsmen that redo everything. I got some books how to do that, and they used to do that here in the states, but we know better than to play with lead. Uh, you know, hopefully we know better. Sometimes you can't know better; you're too desperate. So let me get this powder wet so I can get this drink done. See, I gotta stir it. I think I think you're supposed to have more than 8 ounces of water. It makes it real thick. I don't know. Here's that. But last time there was a lot of air. Or a lot, this is shorter, I think. Maybe it's not. There's a lot of air gap. Anyway, compared to like a regular MRE. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. The memory plays tricks on things. Yeah, as far as lead batteries and all this other chemistries, I think the safest one is the nickel metal hydride, NIMH, from um, the Stanoshinsky inventor. That guy had his hands in a lot of pies, as far from LEDs or LCDs, displays, to rewritable DVDs and writable CDs and Blu-ray technology and amorphous solar panels and um, I think some of the memory, those little memory cards and stuff. I think some of that technology is from his original research, and it was Ovonics. I uploaded some videos I found talking about Stan Oshinsky and his Ovonics. It's pretty heavy duty stuff to try to understand, because he would take basically molecular combinations from atoms and stuff and arrange them like Legos, all in his head, basically, him and his staff. And it's basically atomic engineering. And I don't think nickel metal hydride batteries are being used properly, because I think the design was to have a non-toxic battery that doesn't have any rare elements in it, really, that you could use. Um, you could use, as a battery, you know, storage. So, but yeah, you can't find big nickel metal hydride batteries. They're not being made for some reason. You can buy the biggest I could find, on Amazon was D cells, and they work real good in my Maglite, my big old Maglite, and then I have a propane fired shower that uses a couple D cells, and that works great. But as far as like big old like honking nickel metal hydride batteries, you can't find them. They don't make them. I'm wondering if there's a reason for that. if someone's like trying to hide it from the marketplace or whatever. And so the big batteries, you have lead acid and nickel cadmium, and you have the different lithium makes, and that's it. You don't have nickel metal hydride. And you have nickel iron in there some places, but that's another one that's hard to find. But it's easier to find a nickel iron battery that's big, a big cell, than it is to find a nickel metal hydride battery. I have not found any of the original nickel metal hydride batteries that Texaco Ovonics, I think that was the organization, that used to fire some of the, or not fire, but run some of the early electric vehicles. I'd like to find a cell or two, or maybe a bank of those, and see how they work. Um, the closest you can find is, I think, in the Nissan Leaf, and I think the Honda, whatever, they use some NIMH battery packs for their hybrid vehicles, because the Japanese didn't give a hoot. They kept making them, but they're still smaller than what I would want. They look to be smaller than what some of those old videos. If you look at some of those old videos I uploaded, those are some big honking nickel metal hydride batteries. You can't find them. So I know the capacity is somewhat less, or I don't know. I don't know, comparing a big nickel metal hydride battery to a big lithium LiFePO cell. I wonder which one would have more capacity over more cycles. Probably the LiFePO, I would think, but LiFePO uses lithium, which is, they did some metrics and they don't think there's enough lithium to go around for all the people of the earth to be able to have electric cars. There's just not enough lithium for like that. So you have to find other ways to have batteries. And then you got to worry about the environmental stuff. So I think nickel metal hydride should be given a second look at, and examination as a candidate for a moderate but safe but environmentally friendly, reusable, rechargeable battery for like electric vehicles or home storage or whatever, home solar storage. Well, that's some pretty good fake orange juice, or whatever you want to call it. Tang. It's more tasty than that grape stuff. Well, this is still cooking. It's hot. I'll let it cook a little bit more. You don't want to squeeze around and play with this too much, because it squirts out. It's a lot of it's boiling hot water. Squirt out of it and burn yourself. Yeah, there's it's not just, a lot of things have been LCO batteries. I don't know. It seems like they're itty bitty to me. Like they're little doodads, like gumdrops and stuff. Size. Well, no, I haven't looked at it, but I'm saying you're not gonna find a big old LCO battery. Like, we're talking the size of a, what kind of size am I talking about? Like a quart of milk. About that size, at least that size. I don't think you're gonna find LCOs that big. The expense would be off the charts, unless you found them surplus or whatever. Or maybe they are. I mean, the market changes. Maybe they're already being made. I don't know. As soon as they wrap up production, you never know. But I have a theory that the nickel metal hydride, the big old cells, are going to come back, because they're going to find out the lithium. There's just, everybody's trying to grab it, and so you go for something that doesn't require any specialized materials, not being nickel metal hydride. Yeah, those LCOs, they supposedly last like 40,000 cycles. I don't know. I don't know what you do with those other than run some lighting. I mean, you wouldn't run an air conditioner off of them, because it'd be way too expensive to have. They may have. It's basically, yeah, the cycles are awesome, but the capacity, because of the size of the things, because they're so expensive, you get hurt that way. Like, I'm gonna be paying us a lot of money for any kind of capacity, you know. But it was like that for everything at one point, and then finally they made enough, and like that, things got better. All right, I better eat on this. If I don't eat on this soon, I could let cook some more, but I need to eat this and study and then go to bed. It's already 8 o'clock p.m. here. The stuff I gotta study isn't hard, but it's tedious. And if I don't learn it, um, it could cost me a lot of money, you know, and having a career thrown away. Oh, you're talking about putting capacitors on the battery bank of the LCO? Yeah, I don't doubt it. And I've seen that done with nickel cadmium and nickel iron on the YouTube. That one guy, he was in the both types. I forgot his name. The thing is, my memory is so crap. Or not crap, but it has a mind of its own. Like it'll try to remember the important things, and when it comes down to like other little details and stuff, it's like, sorry, man, we don't have the capacity. Speaking of capacity, to learn all these little different things. It's kind of like a big old, I don't know. You have one of those one of those things you use, the forks to grab hay with. Bigfoot. They got something called tines on them. Um, Pitchfork, yeah. So my memory is like a pitchfork. You can use the pitchfork to grab some straw, but a lot of the straw is going to be is going to drop off as you're moving that hay around. The memories are like the hay. Like you can get a big old memories, but there's going to be some dropping off with that pitchfork. The only way I can really explain it right now. So right now I'm kneading this and moving the heated bits. And this is pretty heated, and this is more like a soup. You can tell. Um, Probably not gonna eat it the way you think. I'm just gonna probably eat it like an astronaut and squirt it and squeeze it into my gizzard here because it's so hot and sloppy that if you try to eat it with a spoon, it's just gonna go everywhere. You know, talking about MREs and eating them on camera and stuff. I mean, these guys, they turn it into like I don't know something other than what it is. I don't see a lot of guys eating MREs on camera or sucking it down like we do in the field. We don't got time to put them out on a nice sleep. We don't even have carry a dinner tray with us, type of deal. Anyway, I'm just being funny. I mean, they're trying to display like their jewels on in a jeweler store. You know, have everything well lit and displayed, which is fine. It works. I mean, obviously, people are curious, and yeah. He says, I have stuff I have to think a long time to get stuff going. Yeah. Yeah, time goes by quick when when you're doing stuff. They say time goes fast when you're having fun. Time goes by fast when you're doing uh, anything that's interesting for you. So it's like a well seasoned chicken noodle soup, maybe or chicken rice soup. That was like a base spice. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, there's some different things. I'm looking at the ingredients, but there's just something I'm not gonna read them off. I think these pouches originally came from the astronaut program, I think, the space program. That's what the astronauts use. So that's tasty. You know, orange drink always goes good with chicken. Yeah, things do get harder as you get older. You gotta get things done in a certain amount of time, otherwise it doesn't matter anymore. You're just not able to do things. I've been around a lot of old folks who just start a lot of old folks who just start giving things away because they know they were never gonna have enough time to get to things. They're running out of time. Yeah, doing the solar roof, that's gonna be rough. I mean, I don't where I live where it snows. The snow would jack up the roof, and then I still have house insurance and things to deal with, and they may not like me putting solar panels up, or they'll want to insure them. So I do ground mount, and I'm fine like that because I can still clean them off, clean the snow off, and everything like that. I don't know if I'll ever do solar on the roof because I can't get to it. If something goes wrong, up there, if there's a wire that gets undone, how am I going to do anything for it? It's dangerous to go up there, and you know, as you get older, it becomes more dangerous to get up there. If you had a roof you could get to and you could walk around up there, I'd be all right. If you had like a catwalk or something, you could get around it because usually at some point you're gonna get up there and service those things. Whether it's clean some leaves off, or maybe you got a hornet's nest up there and they build over the panels and you got to get up there. There's all kinds of weird things that can happen. And, and if you can't get up there and service it, it's going to be a pain in the ass later on. It'll be a pain in the ass if there's something that goes wrong. You get lucky and nothing ever happens, which you do it right. Nothing has access. No bugs out, no birds, no bats, no raccoons, squirrels, um, possums, you name it. As long as they can't climb, cats get up there and screw things up. Yeah. Well, whatever you do, just do it. Just do it one time in the right way. If you can do and know exactly what you're gonna do, just what do they say? Measure twice, cut once. Whatever you do, make sure you have all the measurements, all the materials, everything before you get too far into it, because you don't want to have a half-built thing up there waiting around. And you got to worry about fires and lightning and crap like that too. Um, they have no, I don't know, a lightning rod. I still understand how those work. Well, we're already at an hour. It's electrical I beams, basically, type of deal, like big metal poles but square. with holes in it so you detach things. So it's called Unistrut. It's a brand name. He got it from Home Depot, and he used the Unistrut to put his solar panels on, which I gave him, and I gave him a lot, like around 30 or something, some used ones, and he used the Unistrut, and that's a brand name or the making name, and he used that to make his solar rack mount. That might be something you could check into if those 2x6 or 2x4s are hard to come by. You might be able to get some Unistrut or something like it. Okay. But yeah, I got wind to worry about. I got birds. I got all kinds of aerial phenomena. Sometimes even get hail, frozen snowballs. And besides frozen snowballs, I get frost. I get frozen fog. I get ice. I get um, snowflakes, all kinds of junk. Screw up the solar. Yeah, winter and solar is a whole new. Winter and solar for me are I'm still figuring things out. It's a capacity issue, like battery bank capacity. If you had a big old battery bank and a big old solar array, you could compensate for the diminished hours of sun per day in the winter. Well, that's just big bucks, big money to do all that. So I have a moderate solar array and a moderate battery bank, and I get about half the year I'm okay. My lead acids are getting kind of tired. They used to hang out at about 27.1. Now they're about 26. So they're getting kind of tired. They've got, maybe 5-ish years to go left on them. Maybe they'll eventually go bad. And then I was hoping by then to have my nickel irons and my nickel cadmiums running it or like that. But I got to do something. It's kind of like you hop from one technology to another, trying to get by until you get things just so. Yeah, I have the Starlink satellite, and they use a heating element in the satellite dish to keep the ice and snow off of it. It eats a lot of watts, but it does the trick. They had a fuss about it for people that don't have a lot of energy, so they have a deal where you can shut that heating feature off, and then obviously there's a lot of pets, and then like heating pads and stuff for elderly people for their beds and things. So there's all kinds of heating pad, like pet heaters and bed warmers and stuff. There's all kinds of tech like that. But I think having a petroleum, like gasoline or diesel or propane uh, conventional generator to is the way to go too. Because there's going to be days where, maybe weeks, where there isn't enough sun to do a darn thing. Like if all your solar array gets frozen and then it's dark for the next 3 days, I think the only way out of that on a budget is having a gas or diesel generator to charge things. Probably gasoline. It's easier to start in the deep freeze. That a diesel is hard to start in a deep freeze. I haven't had a propane generator yet. Yeah, it just goes on and on. It's basic percentages of independence, based on where you are in relation to the equator. As you're closer to the equator, you get more solar, more freedom. You get away from there, you get less freedom, less solar. If I were you, I'd look into some of those amorphous panels. That's something I haven't put together yet, but supposedly they make more watts sooner in bad sun conditions than a regular monocrystalline or polycrystalline. I've yet to test that out, but that might be an idea for winter. This one is bad sun. Oh, okay. You say you got some. Well, is it true they make power in like the morning and the dawn and evening at dusk? They still make power? Those amorphous that you've seen? Oh, yeah, yeah. Unisolar. That's that same guy, Stanowshinsky. That's his stuff. That's why it's such a big deal to try to understand what he was doing. He passed away too soon, if you ask me. He had some good stuff up his sleeve that I don't know if we're ever going to see it. I gotta do some videos on some of that unisolar stuff and get the word out. They're not being made anymore, but people poo-poo them because I think they're only 10% efficiency. But if they work when nothing else does in dim light, that's that's an advantage all by itself. But you got to have solar for a long time to appreciate that, I think. Ugh. Huh. Hmm. I've got some. What's called sun power. Monocrystalline. I got them from Santown Solar years ago. They're basically factory blemished panels. They're ugly. They did the sealer all screwy on these things. They're all textured and god awful looking, like kind of like, well, you can just tell they were half baked or whatever. They work great, but they're ugly. So I got them real cheap. But I'm not impressed. I mean, they're pretty good. They do a good job, but if I could just find something that would work in the early morning hours and in the late evening hours, um, on and beyond the capabilities of a monocrystalline. That's what I think that would be the easy ticket. Uh, well, I'll tell you what, John. All right, you're running the Midnight Solar and PPT. Yeah, they got some good stuff. I have a lot of um, what is it called? Well, I made videos on it. Different charge controllers, but none of the top tier stuff. Well, I would hesitate to say it's basically top dollars is what I'm saying. You can't find Midnight 150. I heard good things about it. There was a guy that had made a bunch of solar trailers, and his operation got bankrupt. And a lot of those 150s got on the market real cheap. Um, I don't know if those all sold off though. That was about 8 months ago. Otherwise, it's about $600. Pretty high for me right now, where I'm just getting by. But um, But yeah, anybody can watch some of my videos on charge controllers. I've tried a lot of budget ones and a bunch of Chinese ones and stuff. But yeah, the market isn't what it used to be. Everything's more expensive and hard to source. Some things aren't being made anymore. So, well, I'm actually getting really tired. I better close this down. But I'm still. I think it's been a rough day. It's almost 9 o'clock. We're gonna get a little nap in and get some study in and get my 8 hours or whatever, 6 hours or whatever it is. So, all right, man, John, I'm gonna take off here. Who knows about this tomorrow? I mean, yeah, people are taking down their solar stuff because they think they can get more efficient and a smaller foot square footage. So they say they got some old efficiencies, 13, 10, 15, whatever, and then they find some that are 20 in the 20s. They'll upgrade, and then you can get all the old stuff for pennies on a dollar. Or there'll be some big factory that did the solar incentive, the rebates and stuff back in the day when the government was doing that. Anyway, the factories closed down and they're tearing it apart or whatever, deconstructing it. You can get big old roofs of used solars for pennies on a dollar compared to what they were. So yeah, I mean, I think people underestimate the lifespan of a good solar panel. I think we'll have a lot of used solar panels available because they just keep ticking. I mean, the voltage might go down a bit, but who cares? Just stack some more up together. Uh, you know, you got different series of parallel combinations you can get on different MPPTs that'll translate whatever that is to what you want, and the story goes on. Yeah, I'm gonna head to sleep here soon. Yeah, Victron has got a good name, but they got a lot of systems. They want to sell you to go along with it. All right, man. I'm gonna take off. You take care. Good night. Get your projects done as best you can, and likewise here, I'm gonna be studying, getting my academy stuff done. So, all right, man. Take care. Good night, and thanks for hanging out, man. I don't know. I think I'm not popular enough on YouTube to have a big following, or maybe the hours are weird. Maybe I did this a different time, but but yeah, things are what they are. Things are weird. Just see what happens. All right, man. Take care and good night. There we go. Not that's my left hand. I'm supposed to be doing this. All right. See ya.